Hello, everybody. Welcome to another conversation time. It is Friday, June 3rd. I can't believe we are halfway through the year already. So let's just get into it. You know how this works. If you're in here, say hello with us, talk to us. It is called conversation time for a reason. So let's get going. Let's do what we always do. Give us a second. And we will get it going. We've got a decent amount of stuff to talk about today. So much has happened in the last couple of weeks since we've been on. So much has happened today. It's been a lot of different things going on in the city that are not necessarily great. So let's see. What are you going to say?
Waiting for people to get into the room. What's going on, Damien?
Kind of zoned out. Hello. How is life in the Sweden land?
He hit me up last minute and was like, hey, I got a topic for you to go over. So, share this a couple more places.
See some people starting to trickle in, so let us know if you're here. Say hello. We don't bite, usually.
You know, Facebook's always switching up what's going on. You used to be able to go in. It used to show you who was entering the room with you and who was viewing
If
it.
you watch it, though, it does every now and again. It pops up, but it's not like a continual thing.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why people jumping from the platform.
What did I see? Something today. It was scrolling through. It said somebody said, like some young kid or whatever said, I wish Twitter would have it to where if you go, when somebody goes to your page, they can hear your favorite music and stuff. And they said, we've literally reached an age where kids don't know about MySpace.
MySpace was ahead of its time.
Oh, yeah. Stop. Go.
I mean, in terms of social networks, when it first came out, I mean, it was teaching us how to code our own pages. We were going in. I had like the different backgrounds, I had the different music apps that were playing in there. And then Facebook came and then everyone jumped ship. We just completely deserted Tom because Facebook was, MySpace was great.
You know what? Tom's over there probably living his best life, not worrying about any drama or anything like that.
Yeah, I miss the old MySpace days.
Me too.
I'm dating myself.
We're old.
I saw someone made a post the other day talking about, man, we're the new adults. Like, you know, when you were a kid, I feel like adults were more adulty when I was a kid than when I look at now. Because I think out of all my friends, I think I'm the most adult one now. You know.
No offense, y'all.
No, they'll say it. It was like
No,
nah,
but I
you're
think
the
you got to
adult.
think though too. I think like the adults above, you know, before us, they had to also be adults way before we did. We're really just kind of starting in our 30s.
Yeah, but you know, like in terms of being married, having a kid, and being responsible. You know,
Yeah, we're just now starting that in our 30s.
going to bed at a reasonable hour.
They were doing that in their 20s.
Paying bills, doing stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like,
paying bills.
but looking back at like my parents here, I was like, man, I feel like my parents were more like adults back then. I feel like them in their 20, like in 25, was more of an adult than me at 33.
Did they have the same responsibilities as us though?
But I mean, I think that's just hindsight. Looking back on it as a young kid, looking at adults then, it's like, oh yeah, these are adults. And at the end of the day, I don't think any of us know what we're doing. We're just like, hey, I'm just trying to make it through the day, trying to make it through the week.
This is a trial and error kind of thing, y'all. So
Yeah, they take it day by day, week by week. So it's the little wins. It's like, oh, I cooked a meal, didn't burn the house down.
I think we can just stop at cooked a meal.
I didn't drop my child. Like
We haven't gotten to that point yet either. I think we're doing all right.
somebody said to me a couple weeks ago, it's like, no, it's cool. They were off the bed. It's a rite of passage. I'm like, nah, I don't want my kid to have
Nope.
TBI, traumatic brain injury.
No, our bed's fairly high. I'd rather him not. I don't want to roll off the bed. Good grief.
But yeah, I see a couple more people in the room, so yeah, we can start jumping into a couple of the topics. What we got on the schedule for today, obviously, movies and entertainment, New America topic, which I'll just go into what the face of America might look like in the next 5, 10, 15 years. Healthcare, in the U.S. versus other countries. That's always a great topic, especially when we have viewers from other countries that can chime in and talk about how they see the world from their perspective. The wonderful college versus trade, and then guns, just a blanket statement with that. And then we got a couple other things. Like I said, my godbrother living over there in Sweden hit me up probably about 10, 15 minutes ago and was like, man, you got to talk about this Sweden gate. So I heard about it last week, did some research on it to find out exactly what it entailed. So we'll be talking about that here later on. But movies and entertainment. What have you been watching here lately?
Nothing.
No, you got a couple shows that have been on.
Oh, I like my So You Think You Can Dance, which has been off for the last 2 years. But they came back with new judges, and it seems like they really just kind of let anybody on this show. Or let me rephrase that. They're really kind of letting anybody through. Not a whole bunch of people, in my opinion, have enough skills to where they should be, compared to who has been on previous seasons. They're 17 years in, so it's not like they're new to this.
But the thing I feel like with dance, and for one, I think in terms of just TV shows with dancing and singing, how much more can we do?
What do you mean?
Because it's like, especially in the terms of dance.
Dance is supposed to be an art form.
I
You're
mean,
supposed
I
to be able to
understand it's
express yourself through dance.
It is, but this So You Think You Can Dance, they should just call it So You Think You Can't Dance. Because
Well, they think they can. That's why they're
what
there.
I've been seeing, these people,
It's not been great. It has not been great this year. And I will say this, and it's not against who, I don't even know how to say it. If you know who I'm talking about, if you've had kids, you know who I'm talking about, but I'm sure you know anyway because she's been in the news. JoJo Siwa? Is that her name?
I don't know her
The
name.
girl who used to wear the ponytails with the really big bows. She was a huge kid star or something, I think, when she was younger. And she just recently, within the last year or so, came out as gay. And she's completely changed her look. She's cut her hair off. I think she won Dancing with the Stars last year or something. Anyway,
was she on Disney or Nickelodeon?
Nickelodeon, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, so she's one of the judges on here, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just her personality, but I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of
It's
her.
an aura for me. I just.
And then the guy that played, if you watched Glee, the guy that played the professor, the teacher. Oh God, what was his name?
I've never watched
His name is
Glee.
Matt Morrison in real life. I don't remember what his name was on Glee, but he was the main teacher, the music teacher or whatever. So he's a judge. And then Twitch, he was actually a dancer who was on So You Think You Can Dance.
No, Twitch is cool. He can dance.
Right. He knows how to dance, but he's also co-signing on some of these other ones that really can't. And I don't know if you're doing this for the show or if you honestly think these people can dance and they're just, I don't know what it is, but we'll see how it goes. They just wrapped up auditions. So next week they start doing eliminations. The people who made it through have to go through choreography to see if they can actually follow through with the choreography because it's intense. It's not just something small. Like I said, dancing is an art form and also a sport. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for people, self-expression, but we're talking about, they're going on national TV.
yeah,
and
well, that's the thing. It's
embarrassing-
also TV.
embarrassing themselves.
How much of it is for, publicity and laughs and this, that, and the other, and how much of it are people actually trying to help? No, I don't like that. Go back to whatever. Okay. People trying to help them push to their dreams and people who've dreamt of doing stuff with dance their whole life.
Because really, I think after American Idol, this is a big thing now that, you can go on these shows now and get a star power behind you. And, I mean, you can make it in America, really.
It doesn't take much. All you gotta do is be a TikTok star.
Oh, God, I hate TikTok.
I know you do.
But, other TV shows, Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Season 1 is here.
That is your thing.
And the first 3 episodes, wow. Like, my issue is I don't like having to wait for shows to kick off and wait for the action. Like, nah, we jumped right into the action. Episode 1. And they brought back the original cast that was, they brought back Obi-Wan himself. What's the guy's name?
Oh, this is your thing.
Ewan
Oh, Ewan McGregor?
Yeah, see, you know who I'm talking about.
Because he's been on a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, Mr. Obi-Wan himself. He was in The Phantom Menace, and
Nerd out, babe. Nerd out.
No, man. Nerd talk. They know the vibes. But yeah, this last episode, I'm not going to give any spoiler alerts. So I just need to go check it out. Disney said this is the most watched Disney series premiere of all time since they've been having their Disney Plus series. I mean, it's great. I mean, we know how the Star Wars fans, they show up when the movies drop. So it was no excuse that this one wasn't going to have the same turnout. So it's been getting good ratings. People have really been enjoying it. But on the darker side of that, one of the actresses that's in the show, she started getting racist messages that were being sent to her via Instagram. People were literally jumping in her DMs, just calling her every type of word. We're not going to say this on here because it's a family-friendly show, but y'all can use y'all's imaginations or Google and find out what exactly people were saying. But the actress Moses Ingram, who plays the Sith Inquisitor Reva, they said that people were just sending her messages containing the N word, containing the B word. Some of the actors from the show actually came to her defense and was like just telling people like, you know, that we ain't got no place for this. But the crazy thing about it is, it's Star Wars. Like, you know how many species are in Star Wars? Like, you put it on. You got, first off, Jabba the Hutt.
He is a blob.
Jabba the Hutt. Think about that. Him alone, just knowing what type of species he was and what he looked like. But for them just to get on here, send her messages, hate mail, and just bash her, it's just like, come on, really? So it was nice to see that the people were stepping up for their co-star and really just making her feel a part of the show, letting her know like, hey, we got your back. Like, these trolls are out here. But at the end of the day, we know what trolls are. We know how trolls, what they were sent here to do. But
You've got your next CEO stepped in. CEO of who? Disney?
yeah, I believe the CEO of Disney. But even what's that guy's name? He's Irish.
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, Ewan. Because I want to call him Evan, but it's not Evan.
It's a W.
He's Dr. Sleep too.
Is that horror movie? Was it a horror movie?
From The Shining.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, he plays Dr. Sleep also. So yeah, he stepped in. He put out a post on his Instagram, just letting people know how brilliant of an actress she is, and just letting them know like, hey.
And I get that. The only reason I bring it up, and I know you're tired of hearing this, but the only reason I bring that up is because as soon as this whole trial thing, which is now over, thank God, with Johnny Depp, before they even heard anything and heard his side of it, they dropped him from Pirates. And Fantastic Beasts, is that Disney? That's not Disney.
Nah, mm-mm.
But anyway.
No, because that's Harry Potter.
But they did drop him from Pirates before they even heard his side of things. So, I mean, I understand circumstances are different, but it's just kind of strange. But anyway, I'll talk about that more later.
Yeah, speaking of Fantastic Beast, movies. I got to talk about that. The thing now, and I said it during the pandemic, that people were going to get into this place of comfort of being able to watch movies from the comforts of their couch. You can pause it, you can go to the bathroom, you can fall asleep, you can play it back, you can pop your popcorn, do whatever you want.
Same.
It's the same for me.
It's because you don't care either way.
So yeah, we were able to watch your Fantastic Beasts 3 this
Well,
week.
let's start out what we were trying to do. We were trying to go see it in theaters, and we thought we were going to like a 6:00 showing, whatever. Turns out that it was in Christiansburg and not in Roanoke, so it is not even playing in Roanoke anymore, and it's only been out for a month.
Yeah, so the thing is that theaters they're just gonna cut their cost early. They're not gonna keep keep movies in theaters if people aren't going to see them. We saw that with that movie Ambulance.
Well, that was a horrible movie to be
by Michael Bay. I mean, they're
Don't
giving it a month in theaters, and if people aren't going to see it, they're pulling it and they're putting it right onto the streaming services.
I can see that to a certain extent, but also with this one, I also think that the whole Johnny Depp Amber trial had something to do with it too, because he was originally supposed to be Grindelwald, and then obviously after all this surfaced, they cut him and put in I don't even know what his name is. I don't know,
but I like the guy that they replaced him with too, because at the end of the day, am I really going to see Fantastic Beasts 3 because Johnny Depp was in it?
Yes, because he's a good actor.
No, because he wasn't in the first two. The last one, he was barely in the last one.
The last one was The Crimes of Grindelwald. He had to be in it.
But that you've got to remember, that wasn't his character until the very end.
It was still about him.
But all right, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think it might have played a little bit of a factor, but overall, I don't think people were just like, "Oh no, Johnny's not in this.
I really don't-
I'm saving my coins."
I don't
Pirates
really
of the Caribbean, that's a different story. That's his bag.
I also really think you're underestimating his fan base. though.
No, I'm not underestimating it, but I'm also thinking his fan base, I don't think is going to be the same for the Fantastic Beasts Harry Potter fan base, because those Harry Potter fan base, you know how they are. You know, Damien over there, like, yeah, Harry Potter.
I feel personally attacked.
Yeah, you should, because y'all move different. But
If you have good taste, you have good taste. I mean, you can't. Not everybody does.
Stranger Things season 4, part 1 dropped.
I watched the first season of that, and that was it.
I'm a big scientific sci-fi type of guy. I couldn't get into it. I don't know if I just didn't give it a chance. It's probably too far gone for me, but I probably watched 10 minutes of Stranger Things.
No, it's the same with everything else. Is they go too far with it. You didn't put the what have we been watching?
I haven't got there yet.
You didn't put it on? Okay.
But yeah, Stranger Things, everyone that's been watching it, that has been a fan of it, they've been enjoying it. I've been seeing a lot of posts. I think this is the last season. It's funny watching shows that have like young kids on there, and then for them to, like, you see them age through the show and just grow up with
Like
it.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
That girl has grown up.
What'd she say? Stranger Things scared old KB?
First of all, hello. I can imagine. Those demogorgons are not something that you need to mess with.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's like it looks like it's a flower that can eat you.
Little Shop of Horror. Nah,
Well.
not familiar. But my show, The Boys season 3, just dropped on Amazon Prime.
got
I'm
it.
looking forward to watching that.
The only reason I would maybe watch a bit of it is to see how Jensen Ackles is going to do in it.
Yeah, shout out to that guy.
That guy.
Watching Supernatural, he came over. Who was the other guy? Jared Padalecki.
Jared Padalecki?
Yeah, that guy. He did the Walker remake. I wasn't a fan. I mean, some shows you just can't follow up with. Chuck Norris was Walker Texas Ranger, so
Yes.
this remake they tried to do, I just couldn't get jiggy with it. But yeah, The Boys season 3. If y'all are familiar with it, y'all know what time it is. It's basically what superheroes would do with their days off, or if they were just
Bad?
pretty much. But I mean, I enjoy the writing on it. I enjoy the actors and actresses that they have in there. It's an entertaining series. So yeah, I'm ready to see where the season 3 goes. Cause
Where's it? What's it
looking at
on?
the previews, it's on Amazon Prime.
Prom. Okay. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I haven't watched it since the first season, so I don't really know.
Yeah, no, it's
else going
it's
with
worthy of a watch.
We'll see.
And then the other show that we've been watching is The Man Who Fell to Earth. It's actually a remake series. David Bowie played in the original. I think it was a movie. My grandfather was telling me about it a couple weeks ago. So
It's interesting. It's sci-fi. If you're into that kind of thing, I think.
and I know I'm gonna butcher his name because I always do. What is it? Chatterwell?
No, it's like Cheweedles or something like that.
Vincent Sweet, that was in Four Brothers. That's
Yeah.
how I always refer to him. Like, oh, that's Vincent over there. But yeah, another British actor that his range in movies is extensive.
He is.
But yeah, I've been enjoying it. Like I said, I'm a sci-fi guy.
It's
I
not
enjoy
bad. It's interesting. The concept of it is basically what this alien
Yeah, he's
comes
pretty
to
much
Earth.
an alien, came to Earth. He's basically looking for water. And he has this new, like, clean fusion technology that can power. Katie Beth, what did you say? I know that man's
That's what
name
it
is
looks
not
like.
Chilwell.
Look it up.
Yeah, you look it up. I do it on your own time. But anyways, I like it. I like the show.
It is good. I think we'll see how it progresses. A lot of our shows are on hiatus now. Well, I don't know if you'd want to call it hiatus, but All American, both of them, Homecoming and regular, had their season finales week before last.
And that, man, All American. I like this. I wasn't a fan of Homecoming at first, but being able to see the two in a comparison, they did a good job with character development and then showing what it's like to actually go to college and then being a college athlete, understanding what we go through as athletes and being able for them to transpose that on the screen. It was like, all right, yeah, you were a star athlete in high school, and then he gets to college, and it's like, nah.
You're bottom of the barrel
Yeah,
now. Like,
yeah,
it's not
definitely.
what it
So
used to be.
him having to work his way back up the totem pole and having to basically create a whole new name for himself again. I mean, I've been enjoying it, watching the show.
I mean, they're
so-
going on what, six seasons, 7 seasons?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so they're doing pretty good with that, and then they've got the spinoff, the All American Homecoming, which is pretty good too. Again, just following one of them that went to college in Atlanta and her transition down there and everything, and it was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
What else?
And then your Jurassic Park
so
comes out next week.
I'm so
I think
excited.
this Jurassic Park's going to do numbers in theaters because I think they've been running promotion probably for about the last 2 years.
They've got several different restaurants that are paired with them this time. The Hardee's, I think Burger King. I'm not sure, but they've got a couple different sponsors, or I guess you would want to call it, this time around with it. But this is supposed to be the last one of the series.
It needs to be because how many
It
times
does.
are we going to recreate these dinosaurs and keep crossbreeding?
I guess as many times as they need to. But it brings back some of the original actors in here. Jeff Goldblum's going to be in it. I don't know the other two names, but the original people who are looking for the dinosaurs are in it too. So it's going to be good. And it looks like it's going international, but maybe it's not.
I don't know. We'll see. So anybody that's a fan of Jurassic Park, y'all know it's next week, June 10th.
Yeah, next Friday.
Yep. So yeah, if y'all got any movies, TV shows that y'all want to recommend to us, let me know because I'm always on the hunt for new shows to take a look at. I like sci-fi action shows. I'm not into those long drawn dramas and.
If you think about it, All American is more of a drama than it is
But
anything else.
it's got sports. That's my sports for the week.
You don't like football.
I know, but it's still my sports for the week.
Okay.
Moving on, New America. So I picked this topic because just throughout the week, we've been seeing how different political parties have been talking about different agendas and pushing different social economics on society. And I was in a couple chats last week just talking with a few people just about what does the face of America, what will that look like in the next 5 years, the next 10 years? I mean, even us coming out of a pandemic at this point and seeing how the world has changed in 2 years, like, I don't think anybody can sit here and say that they're the same person in 2022 that they were in 2020.
Well, you shouldn't. You shouldn't be able to in the first place.
But just in terms of just looking at how our economy has shifted, because in 2020, who would have thought that we would be in a position now where we would have work from home jobs? I think it was,
As broad as, well, as, not broad, what's available as they are now.
but I think during 2020, it was looked at like a luxury. Like people were like, oh, you work from home? And then now it's like, oh, you don't work from home?
Right, right.
So,
And, I will say a lot of jobs, too, were very quick to switch over to that platform. I know mine, for one.
because it's amazing what they can do during a pandemic when you have
Well-
to, that word that everybody was using, you have to pivot.
We found out, too, and I found out with my job, like they, most of them have boards and stuff to prepare for these kind of things, what to do in tornado situation, hostage situation, blah, blah. And one of the things they did plan for was a pandemic situation. So within 2 weeks of them finding out that we can't be in the office, they had us sent home with laptops and whatever we needed to be able to do the work still at home, just as well as we did in the office. So
And I think people were realizing also that, especially in office jobs where you had to be in an office, like you probably would do what, 4 to 5 hours of work while you were in the office.
stretch her out.
Yeah, so it was more like finding busy work for employees to do. I think a lot of that came down to the micromanagement that a lot of these jobs were having for people, because even looking at it now, it just wasn't good for people's mental status. Just sitting in these
Yeah.
offices for 8 hours a day and people just over your shoulder and just trying to regulate you. But now we're in this position where people have work from home. They have the freedom to be able to run an errand if they need to, take a shower in the middle of the day if they have to. I know people getting like mini workouts in while they're at home.
Depends on what you do.
Even to the crazier point, I know people that have a full-time job working from home and then they have another side job for work from home. So people having 2 work from home jobs and having that luxury to be able to.
Depends on your flexibility with that first one.
Yeah, so I mean, I think now, as we talk about what does New America look like, because years ago when we had this whole industrial revolution that was going on, when they talk about the men that built America. I ain't gonna go too far into that because we know what how the real America was built. But when you talk about people coming in with the big oil, names like Rockefeller and the Carnegies and those people that were building the roadways and coming up with these big industrial industries. So we moved past that now to the point where it's like, all right, big oil is now being not talked about as a factor. Now we're talking about electric vehicles and the man Elon Musk out here with the EV platforms and sending rockets out into space. So what does that look like 5, 10 years later down the line? Even to the point, what does the next 30 years look like for America? How are we going to pivot? And what does that look like in terms of from a social standpoint? Will everyone be working from home? Because I think the way that the economy is moving now, a lot of these positions, we don't really need to be in the office. And especially with how high gas prices are going, obviously gas is going to settle and come back down later on. But right now, as we're looking at it, it's like, what's the big push? Why are they pushing so hard for people to go back into an office to work when gas prices are knocking on $5 a gallon in Virginia? I got a couple friends out in California. They keep posting every day how their gas prices keep rising 40 cents, 60 cents. They're like, man, I went to sleep and gas is now $7.80 a gallon. And it's like, you're going to spend all your money that you're making working, driving to work to put gas in your car.
Well, but you got to think about it from a business standpoint too. You've also got a 5-story building that's just sitting there for the most part empty. So you've got to justify the mortgage or whatever that you're paying on it, the electricity that you're paying on it to run it, AC, all that other stuff. So you've got to have some people in it to at least justify the cost that you're spending. If not, it's eating up
And
everything.
I'm gonna say what everybody's thinking. That ain't got nothing to do with me. So
I understand that.
As we look at it, companies need to do a better job now of understanding the needs of their customers, because I think before it was such a big concern. They want to beat their bottom line. They want to make as much money as they need to. But at the end of the day, if you're not investing in your employees and having good employee retention, we all know the adage, you're only as good as your weakest link. You're just going to keep getting employees that's only going to be there 3 to 6 months. Your turnover is going to be great. You're not going to get those diehard employees that's just willing to go up and beyond for the company. And at the end of the day,
Well, that also has to do with our generation too, because a lot of the older generations are getting ready to retire. So our generation's coming in. We're not going to stay in a place probably no longer than 3 to 5 years. 5 years would be max.
nah, they said we're the generation of
We don't care.
bump this job, I'll quit.
Exactly. So, we're looking for ways to be able to stay at home.
They said that the millennial generation, they said we really don't have any type of loyalty for positions. It's like, if we don't feel like our needs are being met, we'll just pack up and go find a job, or what so many people do, they'll do these side hustle gigs, drive Uber or DoorDash it, or
Just whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, for our generation, it's really more unheard of to hear of somebody who's been with the same company for more than, I'd even say, 5 years. So I'm going on 5 with mine. You just started yours, but your old job, you were with them for 8 years.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like an anomaly for us.
But with that, I mean, for me, well, I can't say that now because I got a family and kid to provide for, but then it was more about being in a situation where I actually enjoyed my coworkers.
Yeah.
I mean, jobs are going to be jobs. There, you're going to have your good days, you're going to have your bad days. But actually, being able to be in a community of people that actually you care about and you can have that family structure with, says a lot. Because I mean, you go through headaches on a job, but if you know, like, hey, I'm in the trenches with some people that, hey, they got my back, they got my best interest outside of work. I can call them up, we can have conversations. It takes you a long way, as opposed to, oh, I can go over here and make a lot of money, but my coworkers over here sneak dissing. I don't like what they got going on. I got to always watch
Well, the
my
company
back.
itself,
Yeah.
And that's what you were talking about, the company treating their employees well. For the most part, for the reason I'm with mine for so long, it's a good company to work for. They take care of their employees the best that they can. They look out for them. They have this entire pandemic. And I do genuinely like my coworkers as well. So And then they also want the best for you. If something happens and you tell them you're finding a new job or you're looking for something. And I had one coworker today. She said, "Well, I wish the best for you. It's going to suck, but you do what you've got to do." So.
And yeah, that also comes down to them understanding that being in a company for 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, and not having growth, you're just in the same position. It's not healthy for the company. It's not healthy for the employees, because we should be in positions where, or the company should want to see their employees be in a position where they can grow either within the company in higher roles, that they can make leadership decisions or just bring in new innovative ideas that can help the company grow. Because if you're just doing the same task, it's like working on the assembly line and you're just creating widgets and that's all you do every day for 10 years. You know, you're just doing the same monotonous process over and over and over and over again. Who's that really helping? But yeah. So as we talk about what does New America look like, how are these jobs, how are they providing resources for their employees to help them grow and in terms help the company grow as well. But yeah, we got a couple more people that jumped in here. Let me give a couple shout outs. My aunt said, "Hey,
Hello.
I hope you enjoyed your trip back." I tell you, they are some of the most traveling people. My sister and mom, they went down to, they went on a cruise to the Bahamas. So they enjoyed their trip. Then at the same time, my aunt, she went down to Aruba as well. So we had to sit here and watch them with these beautiful beach pictures with the oceans that are blue and the beautiful sand, and we just sitting here looking goofy.
Burning up for no reason.
Yeah. It's been
No
hot
beach.
here in Virginia. I mean, I don't take the mountains for granted, but you know, sometimes you're gonna dip your feet in the water and walk on the sand. But hey, Cam, yeah, we see y'all in here. We appreciate y'all for coming in. Katie Beth, I wasn't calling you out. Sorry you felt that way. Ron, what's good, man? Hope you're feeling all right. Everybody else who has entered the room here in the last few minutes, welcome to Conversation Time. We're just getting into a couple of our topics right now. So if there's anything you want us to discuss or that's on y'all's mind,
If you want to join in and give your 2 cents, you're more than welcome to. We do ask, this is a family show, so please just kind of keep it family friendly.
you know, I think next show, we might be able to do the rooms. There's like a Facebook rooms where people can come in and they can actually be live with you on there.
Oh, that'd be nice.
The only problem is I don't think you can stream it to live, so we would have to do a segment and then share it back later on. But I mean, I think that'd be cool
always figure
just to
something out.
get people in a room where we can just all talk, or if we just do some like breakout sections later on. So yeah, we can check that out. Yeah, she said she had a good time in Aruba.
Good.
I actually had to. I'm gonna show my ignorance. I didn't know where Aruba was at first,
It is in the ocean.
so I had to Google it. That's
all I know.
Aruba. I was like, it sounds nice. Sounds exotic.
Where is it? Where is it? I did not do well in geography.
It's like near the Caribbean.
It is part of the Caribbean, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, she said she had a good time. I looked, they were out the concert series. I loved it for her because she got to see Mary J. And if anybody knows my aunt, she's a big Mary J. Blige fan. So when I saw that she was on her trip and Mary J. was there performing, I was like, I know she was out there. I know she was in the crowd just dancing with it. So what do y'all think about the gun control? Oh man, Cam, I know you see where we had that as one of our topics in here. We get into it. We gonna talk on it. There's a lot about guns, so I gotta brace myself for
too
that
much.
topic, so we can discuss it, because we were talking the other day, just amongst ourselves. It's really a catch-22 here in America, but yeah, we're gonna get to that here in a minute. Let's move it into our next segment. U.S. Healthcare versus other countries. I think you had the majority of the conversation on that.
Yeah,
I'll
so-
let you take that one.
I tried to do some more digging on this, and this is, a lot of this information I think is from 2021, from a couple different articles of last year, maybe as late as 2019. But pretty much, because we're looking into it, we obviously got our medical bills from we got our medical bills from the delivery and everything. And while it wasn't horrible, I will say, for as long as we were in there and everything that, you have and you typically go through during a pregnancy, it wasn't horrible. But I feel like it could be a lot better. Looking around at a lot of the different healthcare systems in some of these other countries. So I was looking around. Commonwealth Fund conducts independent research on healthcare issues. So this is from Washington Post article, a ranking of 11 high-income countries. The U.S. comes in last. And I really think that's a bit of a surprise, because if you think about it, most European countries, and Damien, you're over there, so if I'm wrong, please correct me, they've got universal health care, whereas we have to pretty much pay out for just about everything we do. So the other countries included in these 11 are Australia, Canada, France, Germany, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom, and obviously us. So the information for this ranking is based off performance measures, surveys conducted in each country, and administrative data gathered from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development and the World Health Organization. So pretty much the information from those are derived from 5 basic themes. It's just an access to healthcare, the care process, administrative efficiency, equity, and healthcare outcomes. What makes the high performers stand out is that most of them provide universal health care, like we just mentioned. They also invest in primary care systems to reduce inequities, reduce administrative burdens, and invest in social services among children and working age adults. So pretty much with that, they start while you're younger to try to prevent things that's going to happen as you get older, or that could happen as you get older. Eric Schneider is the lead author behind the findings and the senior vice president for policy and research at the Commonwealth Fund. He believes that the investing in social services for children and working-aged adults is key to ease burdens of healthcare systems. He said, quote, "These are sort of basic supports throughout the younger age groups to reduce, we think, the chronic disease burden that's higher in the U.S." End quote. Meaning that if we catch these issues early enough, we can reduce the chronic disease as we get older. Netherlands have primary care doctors and nurses available 24/7. So they can provide any kind of care. The Schneider believes that this can help prevent minor problems turning into major problems. We've got places around here, most of our urgent cares, and this is Roanoke, I don't know everywhere else, obviously, but most of our urgent cares around here close at like 8 o'clock during the day or during the week, and then 6 o'clock on Sundays. So if you have an issue between that time frame, you have to go to the emergency room, and not everything, means that you need to go to emergency. And then that's also more money that you've got to pay, because you're at least paying $200 every time you go to the emergency room versus a possible $40 copay.
Yeah, they're taking the $200 just for you being there.
Just for you being
Yeah, they come out and say, hey, yeah, we need to collect this $200. Would you like to pay for it now, or can we bill you? So,
and that's the thing. Like, you got a bill the other day for, I don't know how to work this thing. A bill the other day from one of your small visits to the emergency room. It was right before we had Braden. You had a horrible toothache.
Yeah, and the thing with that was I went to the emergency room for a toothache because for some weird reason, we don't have emergency dentist on Sunday.
Very few. And they're not really that advertised. If we do have it, we just randomly found one from all the searching because he was in so much pain. But we went to one of the little, they're doing it now too, or like little standalone ER emergency rooms that are not connected to the hospital itself. It's just like they've got one on 419 and they're about to build one over on 460, and they're both through Lewis Gale. But it's still an emergency room and have just as much, I think they've got just about everything you can do in an emergency room too. But he was just there. The doctor, it ended up, he pretty much didn't tell him anything other than there was nothing he could do for him. He's just going to have to take medication, which is what he's been doing. And then gave us a bill for $200 and said, "Oh, okay, well, go on."
No, I had to pay $200 before I could leave, and then and then the bill came, and then when I called in, it was 2 separate bills. One was for like $75, and the other was for like $600 and some change.
So, because they billed you that for the facility visit, so the visit of going to the emergency room itself, and then the doctor
visit.
The doctor visit. So the doctor bills separately from the hospital, which I didn't know anything about.
That was the first time I had noticed that. And like I said, being older now, I think we look a little bit more about our insurance policies because, in my 20s, it was like, oh, okay, I got insurance. I know what this covers, but you didn't really look at all that it entails. Now, once you have a family, you got dependents on your insurance. It's like, all right, you need max coverage because the thing they used to say about insurance is you don't know you need insurance until you need insurance. And it's just, it protects you in case something happens. Not necessarily, because people can go their whole lives and don't have to ever make an insurance claim.
Exactly.
But you never know that, but you always want to be in a position where you have it to be able to utilize it. Ron, you're absolutely right. Health is wealth. And if I knew what I know now at 33, I would have went to the insurance agency a long time ago, because insurance agency in America, because it's a racket.
It is. But I mean, you know, a lot of us aren't that wealthy, unfortunately. We've got underlying issues, and now just about anything is considered an underlying issue. Pregnancy is an underlying issue. So they can deny you for covering you if you have a baby. So, which it doesn't really make much sense, but you know, that's where we are in this world.
And
I guess.
you were talking about the other countries. One of the guys in my group, he's from Canada. He was saying that they have universal health care over there as well. I think a lot of these countries outside of the U.S. do, but he said they actually pay about 30% in sales tax. So I guess it kind of balances it out. But I mean,
but that's better than dealing with a $3,000 bill that your insurance didn't want to cover at all.
and I think the thing is also, when you live in these societies, you're kind of already used to having to pay higher out of your paycheck, because I mean, you're not really. I mean, you're looking at it, but I mean, after you get into a system and you understand how to budget yourself out, and you already know, all right, they're taking this much out for healthcare, they're taking this much out for taxes. You're already in that mindset, so it's not like, oh, it just automatically hit me, as opposed to, like we said, we go into a hospital here in the U.S. and then we get a bill because
We
you're
know it was
thinking,
gonna be
you're
high.
thinking one thing. Nah, I would never thought
No.
if I went into a hospital for just to get my tooth looked at, that they would hit me with a bill for over $1,000-something. And then when I go to the dentist, my dental insurance covered everything.
It just doesn't make sense.
But yeah, Ron, you're right. It is a hustle here in the U.S. I think I say it every show. America is not a country. America is a business. America is big business, and I think we really run it that way. Back to New America as well. I think that we're going to see a push for a new healthcare reform system later on down the line.
Something needs to be done.
Because yeah, I mean, I'm not running for office or anything like that, but the way I was looking, it was like, if you're an American citizen, if you were born here, or if you went through the process to become a citizen, certain things should be allotted to you just automatically off rip. Healthcare is a number one priority in America. Like, just being a citizen here, people need healthcare. That shouldn't be something that's second guessed. It shouldn't be something where it's only allotted to the wealthy. Any walk of life needs healthcare. Education is another one. Everyone should have the same amount of education available to them. Those
And
are
if
just
they
my-
decide to use it or not is up to them.
But those are just my two topics. I'm not running for no type of office, but I'm saying, I'm just throwing it out there to any politicians, anybody that's on the line. If you're running, use that as your platform, because
It shouldn't be that hard to find insulin. Basic things that people need.
it shouldn't cost you an arm or a leg, literally. For your insulin.
And that's where, you know, things, it's like, what do they say? It pays to be sick or something like that.
Yeah, it pays.
So-
Doctors are not in the business to keep you healthy, because if
There
they
you go.
were,
There
they
you go.
wouldn't have a job.
And that's
they're
the
in the
truth.
process. They're in the business to keep you coming back. So they're going to put you on these medications to keep you coming in the door. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about a lot of these different holistic and different like roots and things that they've been using, and it's been healing themselves. Getting out in the natural sun, exercising, drinking water, just the basic stuff that can keep us healthy. Because, like we said, the moment you get any type of like hypertensions or diabetes and stuff, the first thing the doctors want to say is, oh, you need to take 3 or 4 different types of medications. But the thing was, back in the day, before we had these doctors, what did people have to do? They had to figure out how to get natural remedies in order to cure themselves of these ailments. So, nah, Ron, I don't see that in my cards, man. I got this thing planned out for at least the next 10 to 15 years so far.
Good to know.
I don't care to be in any type of political industry. I'd rather just find the people that are able to get into those platforms and rally behind them. If it's just doing some marketing, tossing a couple dollars towards them, but nah, I don't want my face out there like that, because they do weird stuff to people when they start running for these platforms, and I'm not the one.
I will say this is the last thing on this. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll just say this last little bit. Although we are ranked last in most everything with the top 11, we do rank highly in areas of preventative care and engagement with patients. We're ranked number 2 behind New Zealand. In the latest report, we have high mammography, mammograms, rates in flu vaccine rates. We have a higher percentage of adults who are willing to talk to their doctors about such things as nutrition, smoking, and alcohol abuse. So I guess in that sense, at least they have an open communication.
I mean,
But what does that really do
I
if
mean,
you
I
can't
guess,
afford
but
it?
the thing is, that's the weird thing about the flu. It's always here, all the time. Why is it necessary we have to get a vaccine every year for the same virus that keeps coming
I
around?
don't know.
When as a society, why can't we just eradicate it?
Well, because coronavirus is going to end up being the same way. Coronavirus is the new flu.
You know, I like my conspiracies just
I
because
don't
it
think
brings.
that's a conspiracy.
No, I'm saying it just brings conversation because now we have monkeypox now.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
So I couldn't talk about it because it came right after Corona, and then we're on what strain of Corona now?
Who knows?
But on said, it's funny. When I was younger, growing up, I always knew we, the U.S., took care of other countries, and I always understood that. However, now that I'm 54, I have a slight problem with that. Not saying we should not help others, but we should help us first. Yeah, I was saying that also, but it's big business when we can go into other countries and lend a helping hand, as they say, or be that knight in shining armor.
But then sometimes we're the knight in shining armor for countries who didn't even ask for our help.
I know that I was being sarcastic when I said
Okay.
it because I don't know why we're in some situations. Because you're absolutely right. We have a lot of issues here at our own back door in our own backyard that I think we should be tending to. But yeah, I don't know. What's wrong with you?
I can't with your dog. She's very foul.
No, she does that. I mean, society needs more young leaders like you. Man, yeah, I guess I'll share my ideas. There are a lot of other ones out there that I see coming up. That yeah, hopefully I could be a mentor to later down the line. But nah. I said when she was in Aruba, the tour guide told her that the Netherlands helped them out during COVID and paid their salaries since tourists could not come over, and they have free health care. Now they do have to pay the Netherlands back. Well, but Aruba's a smaller country also, so I can understand in those terms, and also during COVID, I mean reaching out, helping others in that sense, because that was a global issue that was just plaguing everybody. So it wasn't just one country that was affected, but everyone as a whole. So I could see, especially us as the U.S., using resources that we had in order to help others in that sense. But I mean, just certain situations, I'm like, all right, why are we over here doing these things?
Well, and then there you go. You got Cam's comment underneath it. They do it for leverage, and I'd 100% agree with that.
So it's like, oh yeah, I did this for you back
But
in
now I need your
2020.
help. Mm-hmm.
I need your help over here with this. So
Yep. I don't really think, and there might be
ain't no
situations.
such thing as a favor without a favor.
No, I really don't think the U.S. does anything out of the goodness of their hearts. That's just, I don't think that's really a thing here. So there's always an underlining reason as to why we're doing such, we're sending money over to Ukraine, or
Yeah,
we're
what's
doing
that?
this,
What's
that,
that
and the
term?
other.
No good deed goes unpunished.
Is that what that's for?
I guess. I mean, essentially, you can't do a good thing without something supposed to be coming back in return.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Our next topic is college versus trade. So we got caught up in a discussion a couple weeks ago when my good old friend Aji was in town. I swear, whenever this guy comes around, we just have the most in-depth conversations.
Because we don't see him that often.
It starts off as one thing, and then we just go down this rabbit hole and just start talking about just any and everything. But it's funny because our perspectives, it's just how we're able just to just have these deep conversations. I wish I can get him. Well, no, we had him on the show once.
Yeah, no, he's lost his show privileges. No.
He just talks freely. So having him on the show where we try to be selective in a family setting gets a little interesting because he's the type he just talks freely. And there's no telling what might come out his mouth.
There's not.
And he's like, "Oh, wait,
We
man.
don't have a censor button,
Yeah,
so we're
there's no way just for us to nah." but we got on this conversation of college versus trades, and having the understanding of years ago, because my mom, both of my parents actually, from when I was a young kid, they were just always just hammered college, into my head. Just in terms of just what college can allot you in life. I think a lot of times years ago, college was looked at as, from a social standpoint, as a rite of passage. Where if you're going to college, and that means, oh, okay, it's for the privileged. Only people that had a certain college education were allotted different types of jobs, or people viewed them in society as being, in terms of people that were the haves. To now, everybody can go to college. It's not like,
it's an
unless you're going to like an elite Ivy League prestigious school. College is out there for everybody just to partake
in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah, to the point now. Yeah, exactly, Cam. It has become an oversaturated market because, especially with the industries now. Bachelor's degrees now are looked at
They're like a high school
as
diploma.
equivalent to an associate's degree or a high school degree.
High school, because most kids who are leaving high school have their associates already.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was because of those courses that kids were taking. But even then, those courses were only allotted to a specific group, like the IB classes that kids were taking, or even being able to do like dual enrollment. I knew a couple kids that were taking classes over at Western while we were in high school, or even high schools offering college credits while they were in school, just to give them that extra leg up before they got to college. So exactly right. College has become an oversaturated market now. And what does that look like for the future? Because one thing we know, college tuition is only going up. It's not getting any cheaper. Nope. And kids coming out of college with $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 debt on their head, only to get into these industries that
want experience.
Yeah, they want experience for the job that they're getting into. What does that look like? You graduate with $150,000, $200,000 debt, and you're making $30,000, $40,000, and then we know the interest rates on these college loans. If you make a minimum payments, you're never going to pay these back off. Which I
think they know that.
But the crazy thing about it is, college will give you $100,000. Banks will give you $100,000 to go to college, but they won't give you $25,000 to start a business.
Nope.
What sense does that make?
They'll
give a 17, 18-year-old $100,000 for school, but if you go there with a business plan, it won't give you $10,000, $15,000 to start a business.
I guess you have to look at it as a return on investment at that point. They think if you're going to go to college, you're going to make something of yourself.
Absolutely
not.
not
Necessarily the truth.
I can say this. I gotta be careful how I say it, 'cause I'm not trying to diminish a college degree in any way, but the return on investment for kids going to college, graduating with $100,000, and then getting out here in the workforce with an oversaturated market, the return on investment is a lot lower than if they just got a $25,000 loan, went out here, started a business, and if they failed the business, they could pay back that $25,000 a whole lot quicker than they could than going to college. But with that, they have the experience to know, all right, this didn't work for me. But at the end of the day, they went out here, they tried to make something happen. And the majority of them that would do that would have a lot more success than the ones that are going to school.
Now, well, then, like you said, don't get us wrong. College is good for some people, not all. Now, would some of the college education that you get in these classes help you with your business later on the road? Yes, of course. Yes.
I can say
It
this.
can.
I can say this as an
If it's
entrepreneur
specified.
that went to college for business marketing. Nothing that I learned in college until my final capstone.
Yeah.
That was the only teacher that I could say, like, he actually made me think. when we were doing these group projects. That was the only time. But everything else that I
I'm
did
not
in
saying
school,
the entire thing, but there are certain aspects of it. Again, like I said, it's also if you're in a specified department, like medicine, something like that. Yes, you need college to do something like that. But if you're just an entrepreneur and you're trying to get your own business up and running, you can learn most of this stuff on your own.
if you're going to school for business marketing and you're there for 4 years trying to learn business marketing, the crazy thing about it, after that 4 years, marketing has changed so much, even with how people market on the internet. Because when I went to school, the internet was just coming out. I think Facebook probably was just, you probably still needed a college ID.
Facebook, I think, was only coming out when you graduated college.
But like we said, going to school for business and things like that, unless you're in like a Harvard, but even the thing with those,
And that's just the title.
even the people in Harvard like dropped out to go start their own business because they said the thing they realized is I can't start a business while I'm in college because college isn't going to teach you how to start these businesses. Experience.
You got to think, what's the most that you're paying for when you go to college if you go room and board?
And that's what Aji was getting on. He was saying how college is preparing you for the real world because you got to go to college to have those social interactions and understand how to navigate in a space on your own. And me and him got into this whole debate because I was like, you don't need college to understand how to navigate in the world or how to have a social life because you could go out and get an apartment, work a job, and still have these social interactions. So I don't think that is necessary. I love the trade schools. I love what I'm seeing coming out of the trades now, even to the point where they're starting to offer trades to high school students just to get them a leg up. To have that understanding. When comparing trade schools versus colleges, most prospective students will notice the difference in the completion times first. While traditional college degrees typically take 4 years, trade programs often take less than 2 years to complete. So, like we were saying, if you're 17, 18 years old going to college, you'll be 21, 22 graduating.
Yep.
And then you graduate, you have no experience. What can you say? Oh, I had a great time partying with my friends. I got to live the college dorm life. Me personally, I tell people all the time, nine times out of 10, if I didn't go to school on a basketball scholarship, I probably would have went the trade route.
You better be careful saying that.
No, because I went to school because I was blessed and gifted enough to get scholarships to play basketball, but we were doing this business thing way before that, to the point now where me and Aji will sit around, we'll laugh and be like, dude, we were making good money having that mindset on how to do entrepreneurship, just everything from event hosting to PR to marketing, to the point where if we would have just stayed in that lane, they got trade schools for marketing, but the big thing now is online education, where you can take these courses that teach you marketing, that teach you promotion, that teach you, the big thing now is social media management.
Oh, yeah.
Social media marketing. How are these companies positioning themselves in order to brand and market themselves to get acquisition, to get sales? The big thing is sales nowadays.
It's because you don't see a lot of brick and mortar places anymore.
College can't teach you sales. They can teach you textbook, like, all right, this is what you should be doing. But at the end of the day, that experience is going to come. You got to have that understanding and that mindset. What are the advantages of college over trade school? Entering a trade offers personal fulfillment, high salary potential, and job sustainability. Trade schools generally cost less and they take less time than a 4-year college degree, and trades are in high demand right now. The thing that they were talking about a few years ago was with this oversaturated job market, it has left a lot of these trades open. I can't tell you the number of times where I've been looking on Facebook and people are like, I need a plumber. I need someone to help me lay brick. I need an HVAC. I know a couple guys that actually went the HVAC route and they're doing great for themselves. Because, those are trades that, short of you knowing how to work on an HVAC system, which I can say I do not. I can't go out there and just know, all right, I got to put coolant in this, or you got to do these wires, you got to put a new compressor or a fan in there. But those HVAC guys, they know exactly how to go out, how to diagnose the issue because they went to school for those trades. They had that understanding, and that's why they get paid the big money. I mean, you know how much it costs to get an HVAC guy out? So look at a unit,
Too much.
and then how much it costs to replace a unit.
Oh, we might have to find that out here soon.
Yeah, knock on wood, hopefully not. But yeah, college works if you can go for free and complete a degree in a field that pays well. That's what Cam had just said. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, things like Katie Beth. Yeah, if you're a lawyer, yeah, I definitely want my lawyer, thank you, Katie Beth, to have gone to law school, to have that education.
But she still said law school taught me nothing about the actual practice of law. Stop scrolling. I think there's only so far the classroom can take you. It's important to have that experience. It is true. Classroom can only take you so far, but I mean,
But also with law is such an elite field where you need to go to law school in order to understand, to be able to pass the bar, so that you can go out here and you can be competent to be able to defend your lawyer so you can win cases.
for your client,
Because,
your client, not your
Yeah, your clients. Because I don't want a lawyer I find on the back of a matchbox that doesn't know anything. Like, nah, I want my lawyer to actually understand law and know how to practice law to get me off when I need to. So, but yeah, doing business. Ron said, I've worked in admissions for a few different trade schools, and I've seen many students become successful at a young age. And that's the thing. I think there was such a push that the schools had to be in the pocket with the colleges, because they were just like, no, you need to go to
Oh, yeah.
college. You need to go to college and get your degree. I mean, Kanye had that whole college dropout song where he was album where he was talking about the little skits. It's like, yeah, man, my dad told me go to college and get these degrees, man. It's like, what your dad doing now? It's like, oh, man, my dad died. He couldn't really leave me with anything but these college degrees, and that's about it. He couldn't leave us with nothing else. But New America.
I mean,
I'm gonna make a T-shirt that says New America, because like these thoughts and ideas,
That's
obviously,
a question opener or a conversation starter for sure.
yeah, these New American ideas that I talk about is just where I see where we're headed down the line. Because, I mean, yeah, these old college institutions, these old brick and mortars, as we saw during the pandemic when everything shut down, colleges shut down. Students weren't on college campuses with room and board. Nonetheless, they was at home virtually. How do we flip that script? Flip it to a trade school, or flip it into something where it doesn't take you 4 years to have to do electives all over again when you just came out of high school? What's the point of having
I have no idea.
128 classes and 86 of them are electives, and that you can't even
That
get
has
into your
nothing to do
core
with your degree.
curriculum until the end? And I understand, it's supposed to be there to help you critically think. It doesn't take 4 years to critically think. I think
No.
now we need to be at a place where we need to get the answers quickly. How do we research? How do we do critical thinking skills in a faster paced environment where we don't have to take 4 years to understand it? Because after 4 years, you're not getting the experience. Jobs want people to have experience now.
Exactly. That hands-on training is a huge piece. That's what Ron said.
I pulled up where it said, what trade jobs make $100K a year? These are just a couple that I was able to find out. Commercial pilots. Yeah, did you know you don't have to go to school for 4 years in order to be a pilot? Well, I don't know how many years you have to, but you don't have to go to college to be a pilot.
I knew that, but at the same time, I'm a little worried.
Why?
But I mean, I feel that you would have to have an extensive
I'm
training.
gonna be honest with you. I'm not worried, because I don't want my pilot going over here to Virginia Commonwealth University. I'm just throwing it out there because I live here in Virginia, and majoring in beer pong 101 and drinking
true,
804, and then being like, oh yeah, I'm a pilot. Now he over here looking like Denzel in Flight. Like, nah, I don't want that. Like, if my pilot's gonna do the trade school, he understands it, because they got a bunch of wonderful simulators that they can do. But even on the other side of that, are military personnel. They don't go to college.
No.
They are doing hands-on training in the field and professions that they need to know.
Because that's usually their option instead of going to college.
Yeah, so web developers and digital interface designers.
That's standard.
Yeah, computer programmers, animators or multimedia artists, detectives or crime investigators,
That's not surprised.
writers or editors. So your writers and editors aren't going to college.
You can see it in some
They're
of the
not going to
articles.
college, they're going to trade schools. So sound engineer technicians and sales representatives are just a couple of the trade jobs that make over $100,000 a year.
Sales representative. What's sales representative? I wasn't making 100,000 a year.
You just weren't in the right sales, but yeah,
Clearly not.
high lucrative sales. Yeah, you can make upwards if you get into the right sales.
Shauna said that's why it's important to speak with your kids to see where their mind is at and what they want to do. Exactly. And we've had this conversation several times before Braden was born and now that he's here. Once we get to that position, we will let him decide what he wants to do. If you want to go to college, you go right on ahead and you do what you want to do. If you want to do a trade, fine. But what you can't do is just sit here and do nothing.
Nah, we're not having that.
No.
And I think, and that's the thing now. We're parents now, so having the understanding on what does that look like years down the line. New America, because
Yeah.
everything I do now, I got to think in terms of 15, 20 years down the line for what's this going to look like when my son is an adult or I'm knocking on the door of adulthood. How is the world going to be structured for him to be able to navigate in the best way possible? Having that understanding. Looking at how college is now, short of him getting a scholarship and saying, hey, I want to go to college, this is what I want to do. I can't sit there and force feed my kid like, hey, I need you to take out student loan debts where you're going to be, man, it's going to be like $300,000 to go to school just to get out and make $50,000 just to say, oh, I went to college for 4 years and I'm a digital marketer. Like, come on, my guy, we could have did digital marketing classes on
At home.
at home on
You
one
don't
of
need
these
classes. You got your guy right here.
Nah, because they still offer like there are a lot of like SharePoints and other online courses. I actually take a couple of these courses just throughout the months because information is always changing. We're in a ever growing society, and just having that understanding on what's coming up next. Where's Damien at?
I don't know. He may have been asleep. He may have been asleep.
No, he should still be up because that's the thing. He's able to be over in Sweden, and Sweden has a initiative where they actually pay for their citizens to be able to go back to school. And yeah, people that can get free education, they can get scholarships. Yeah, definitely take advantage of the system to be able to go to college and do that because yeah, he's getting his master's. Like he told me the other day, and I was like, man. That's good. That's good to hear.
Oh yeah.
Like so, yeah. He definitely took advantage of being able to be in a situation and make the most of opportunities while he was there. So yeah, super proud of him being in that situation where he's graduating from college in Sweden.
In Sweden.
Yeah, Ron. YouTube University. I am a student of YouTube University. I have a few course certifications from YouTube University. I will forever preach YouTube University because why not? Cam said PSA, the trucking industry is a good field to get in. Broker, driver, owner, operations, et cetera. You can make great money. Man, a couple of guys in my group, they were just talking about trucking yesterday. Actually, it's crazy you said that. And they were just talking about the how crazy it is, the opportunities just to get into it once you have that understanding of being able to how to navigate within it. So yeah, definitely good stuff.
I don't like all these screens. I don't know how to work them. Okay, let's get
So this
to
brings us to our next topic.
these next two I think can kind of go hand in hand.
Which one is that?
Guns and are we a product
Okay.
of our environments? I think they
So
go
yeah,
hand in hand.
Cam he kind of jumped early with this
I thought you were
topic.
about to say jump the gun.
Nah, I wasn't gonna make that blatant
Pun?
pun. But yeah, guns. I mean, right now, it's just I think this is a big broad topic. I think even right now, I think it's just so much going on in terms of just gun violence, gun policy, even to the point today where unfortunately another life was taken by somebody just in here in Roanoke by a gun. But I think the big thing that's just putting this stuff on the radar now is the number of shootings that are occurring, which is unfortunate. It's like we can't fully digest and understand what's going on with these shootings before the next one takes place. I think I can't even keep track now on how many there have been this year alone. We had the one that happened in Buffalo at the supermarket, and I think there was one or two in between there, and then we had the one at the school, and then there was one on a college campus, and then I think one happened yesterday, and I know I'm missing more
Well, the
in
school in
between
Texas
there.
and everything.
Yeah, but and this is now forcing lawmakers, policymakers, the president. They're having these meetings once again, trying to go back to the drawing board and get an understanding in terms of what can be done.
Which I don't think you really need to go back to the drawing board, but just to give an idea of how many have happened this year. And let me tell you, too, if you get information from the Gun Violence Archive, they classify a mass shooting as an incident where at least four victims were shot, injured, or killed. This does not include the shooter. So, if we say a mass, we're not necessarily talking about a lot of people, like 19 plus people like that were killed, unfortunately, in Texas. But this says there has been 228 mass shootings around the country this year, 27 of which have been in schools. This equals to about 2.4 mass shootings a day. That was from Newsweek. In 2021, by the end of the year, we had 693 mass shootings per the Gun Violence Archive. So again, like I said, it's not necessarily large quantities. It's if it's four or more people, they go ahead and classify that as a mass shooting. So let's see. They also include shootings where just one person dies. There are a lot of shootings from Chicago listed in 2020. There were 611 and 417 in 2019. Over the Memorial Day weekend last weekend, there have been 9 killed and more than 70 wounded in mass shootings across the country. They're tracked by, again, the Gun Violence Archive. And they reported that there was 15 mass shootings between 5 p.m. Friday of that weekend to 5 a.m. Tuesday around the country. So, and that just kind of brings us to these questions, because again, a lot of them are in school shootings, and you're seeing a lot of them are younger generations who are getting these AR-15s or whatever kind of assault rifle they're getting.
Semi-automatics is what the gun classification is on them. It's just pretty much, I mean, a gun that holds large magazines that can be fired rapidly, that they associated with like hunting rifles. Well, not hunting rifles, because rifle,
they're not
but
semi-automatic.
they said that they use these semi-automatics for hunting. But my thing is, deer aren't wearing Kevlar.
What are you hunting is really the better question. And it's a horrible question to have to ask. But with these shooters being some as young as they are, you have to ask yourself, are these kids are becoming desensitized to these gun violence because of everywhere that they see it in their communities, they see it on video games, they see it through music. And this has been going on since we were younger too. So it's not like this is a new thing.
No, but the thing with us, I could definitely say, I think they are becoming more desensitized to the violence of guns. I know when I was growing up in our household, my parents just made sure, like, what video games was I playing? They made sure I wasn't just out here just senseless, just playing. There was definitely no Grand Theft Auto in the house. I don't think I got my first, like, Call of Duty until I was, like, 16. Even then, I think I had to go out and buy it on my own. Just because
they're rated they're rated maturity for a reason. You shouldn't have your 5-year-old over here playing Grand Theft Auto or whatever, Halo, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. They're age appropriate for a reason.
I think I was playing Halo probably about 14, 15.
Well,
but
isn't
I
that
was
like
at
a alien game?
I was at the age where I understood, like, hey, this is a video game. I can distinguish between what's real and what's not. But like you said, when you're at these young ages, like 5, 6, 7 years old, you don't understand really what's going on. You just know, oh, I'm out here just shooting stuff.
Well, and then you've got what did they call them? The latchkey kids, where the video games basically raised them because the parents were either too busy working or doing something else. So they're sat in front of video games to keep themselves occupied while the parents are out doing what they need to do or whatever they're doing. And I think that's what they're called, or latchkey kids.
I don't know. That's the first time I've heard of that.
It was an episode on Criminal Minds that kind of referred to it. And pretty much what it was these two brothers, latchkey kid, a child who is at home without adult supervision for some part of the day, especially after school, until a parent returns to work. So video games don't necessarily have anything to do with that, but what are you going to do to occupy yourself? What was the first thing that you did when you got home after school when we were younger?
Man, I made me a little sandwich, put on some, Nickelodeon, kick my shoes off, watch a little TV.
But eventually you also did what? You played your video games.
I can't really say. I was never a real video game kid.
You're out of this conversation. I'm kicking you out
I
of this
was, yeah,
conversation.
I grew up on computer games. Like I was on The Sims, Roller
Same
Coaster Tycoon.
situation. Roller Tycoon, that was a good one. But anyway, it's the same situation. You were on some sort of a game where you were learning different things to do, learning different skills, and now these kids mostly have shooting games. So it's more, that's what they're learning now. And then, like we said, their environment around them, if that's what you're seeing, and this is why I said that that next question can kind of come into this as well. Are you a product of your environment? We have different views on this.
It's a glass half empty, half full type of situation. Because we were talking about it yesterday. Are people products of their environment, or is it nurture and nature?
I don't believe you're a product of your environment.
And I had touched on that, just saying you got to have that growth mindset in order to understand what's going on around you and wanting better for yourself. Because if you don't want better for yourself, you're never going to pull yourself up. You're just going to, like I said, just sit there and just say, all right, I'm a product of my environment. This is what's going on. And you can't pull yourself up out of it.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. If you have the fact that having that mindset is even a possibility makes you not a product of your environment. Because if that was the case, we would all be doing what everybody else is doing around us. So people who live in low income areas, every single one of them would be doing whatever everyone else is doing. Not any of them would be working to get out of that situation. So that's where I'm coming with it. I don't think that you can be a product of your environment. If you have the mindset to get yourself out of it, then clearly you're not.
If you have the mindset, I have to see the data on it to see how many people that are in those situations actually want to do better for themselves. Because I talk to people all the time. They say like, "Oh yeah, I grew up in a holler," or you know the holler people.
I was like, country?
Yeah, like the little holler, like in small towns where people live, and that's all they do. They graduate, they stay there, they don't do anything else. So would that be a situation where product of the environment, or?
I mean, I guess so, but like I said, I think I'm thinking more of
And we see it a lot in more smaller rural areas where everyone knows everyone already. They get comfortable. They get familiar with what they have. They don't want the change to occur. So they just stick to what they know. As people, we're creatures of habit. Until we get uncomfortable, we're not really going to make that change or really want better for ourselves unless, like I said, unless you have that growth mindset where you're like, all right, I want to do better. I see others doing better because 9 times out of 10, if you're just sitting around and everyone's just doing the same thing, what's the motivation for you to want to do better?
And I mean, I understand what you're saying. And then how I said we could tie these two in together. You see a lot of these shootings and stuff. I mean, okay, well, I'm not going to say a lot. Some of these shootings and stuff that you see, I will just say around our community, has been, they don't want to attribute it to gang violence, but I believe that's what it is. If not territorial issues, just fights, and they're not fighting with fists or stuff anymore. They're fighting with guns because they're seeing that happen everywhere else. So in that case, that's why I'm saying, are you a product of your environment, or do you want to move away from that and do better for yourself? Because we see, you've got 16-year-olds out here with guns from wherever they found them, trying to solve issues like that instead of just talking it out or doing something more productive. And then we've got even lower than that now, we've got kids in elementary school who are bringing loaded guns to school or writing out plans of what they think they could do in a mass shooting or what they want to do. And then even just bringing an empty gun. We've had all of those have happened within the last 2 weeks in our community. So the most recent being the plan that they found drawn out in one of the elementary schools here. I mean, the kid was very detailed, unfortunately, with as far as what days the police was going to be a heavier presence, who he could have as accomplices, who would help him out with this, that, and the other. He or she, I don't know what it was, but I think they said they came down to it. It was a 10-year-old who drew it. So where are they getting that information other than what's on the news to be able to come out with a plan like this? It's just sad that we're having to look this young to see what's going on.
And we got to understand that guns in American society is ingrained in our fabric.
Oh, it is.
It's a Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. Granted, when that amendment was created, it wasn't with the idea that we would have semi-automatic weapons, but more merely, I think during that time, they had muskets, a little revolver at the time, and it's called an amendment, but the amendment never changed to satisfy the population that we're in now, or it never changed to satisfy the evolving nature of the guns that we have out here now, and it just stayed the same. I think now we're in a place where, like I said, it's catch-22. We're too far gone now for policymakers to be like, all right, you know what? We're going to pass a policy where we're going to come in, we're going to restrict guns, or we're going to take these type of guns away from people, and we're going to leave you with, we're going to regulate your guns. Because at that point, there would be a revolution on the street. Because if there's one thing I know about Americans, Americans love their guns.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see it just in the conversations that people have. You can see it at these gun shows where people go, and they just love just either they're avid gun collectors or they like to go hunting. I got a couple friends that they collect guns. Like that's what they do. They can tell you about guns, what type of magazines they hold, the origins. I'm just like, oh, you a collector. Ron say, what do y'all think about mental health being the root of the problem? My thing is mental health has always been a factor. A person that has ill will or just malice in their heart, I mean, if you ban guns, they're still going to find a way to cause and inflict harm. So it's not necessarily the gun. I mean, it's not necessarily the mental health or the guns, because, I mean, guns aren't out here shooting up people.
No.
But at the same time, we do need to have gun control. Why is it that I just can't go out here and get into a vehicle and drive? Why do I need to have registration? Why do I need to have a license? Why do I need to go to the DMV and take a test? And they need to say, hey, you're approved to drive this motor vehicle. When, if we're looking at the data, we're looking at the statistics, guns alone this year have killed more people than automobile accidents have. Why is it that an 18-year-old can go out here, purchase 2 semi-automatic weapons, but can't go out here and buy alcohol, can't go out here and buy tobacco, but we're cool with just, oh, okay, you're 18, sure. Oh, you show me your ID? Yeah, you can have it. So, yeah, I'm definitely an advocate of doing checks to make sure that these weapons, we're just not putting them out here in people's hands that shouldn't have it.
Extensive checks.
Yeah, extensive checks. I'm not saying, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, no, we need to take away guns, because, I mean,
That's not going to solve it.
home protection, yeah, definitely. I feel like people should protect their house, whatever weapon you have. But semi-automatic weapons, it's a gray area. I don't want to sit here and say, no, we need to take those away, because I know I got some gun enthusiasts on my page, and they'll be like, oh, nah, we need to have these. Whatever y'all do with it, be responsible. At the end of the day, just like a motor vehicle, don't drink and drive. We need to have proper checks in line for what we're doing, because at the end of the day, it's a tool. It is a weapon. And you're absolutely right, Ron. Mental health is not only a big issue in the country, it's a big issue around the world. We need to have that understanding that mental health needs to be talked about.
But it needs to be talked about before it becomes a problem, because right now they're trying to fix the problem that's already come and cause damage. We can't fix it once it's already happened.
And for them to try and use the mental health aspect as a scapegoat, like, did we know that these people, did they have mental health issues prior, or were they just someone that just wanted to go out here and just cause ill will? So I think a lot of times we get into this situation where we see these shooters do these things, and the first thing we want to do is label, oh no, they had a mental illness, so we need to get them evaluated. But at the end of the day, people that are doing these situations, it's a deeper thing than just mental health. Because for someone just to go into a church with innocent people, or go into a school and gun people down,
Not babies.
kids. Gun down babies. End of the day, that's a deeper root issue that we just can't stamp mental health issues on, because I know people out here that have mental health issues. I've worked in industries with people with mental health issues. People with mental health issues, they're trying to get help. They want to do better in life 9 times out of 10. Their first thought, the ones that I work with, wasn't, oh, how can I go out here, buy a gun and just kill people? But yeah, like I said, people that have that malice in their heart, they're going to find ways to go out here if it's with a bow and arrow, if it's with a knife,
A car, whatever.
a car, anything. But I think right now there's this big spotlight on gun control and just figuring out how we can do it. Like I said, it's a catch-22 because we can't sit here and say, hey, we're taking away everyone's guns. But at the same time, I read an article when these issues occur and we see a lot of these mass shootings, gun sales rise because people are in fear that their Second Amendment rights are going to be taken away. So
I think there's two different sides. I think you're in fear of your Second Amendment right being taken away, and then also fear of needing to protect your own self.
Exactly. So with that, people look at it like, all right, well, if our government can't protect us, we're going to protect ourselves, which in terms does a run on the gun stores where people run out and they want to buy more guns so they can protect themselves. But I've been saying it for years. I'm like, some people just load up guns, and it's like you can't fire all these guns at the same time. Like, we're not John Rambo. We're not gonna sit here with two guns and just shoot it out, because when these situations are happening, you got seconds to be able to think and react. But yeah, I feel like there's definitely, we have to have a conversation where both parties are on the same platform, because a lot of innocent people now are getting killed unnecessarily in just senseless acts. And yeah, we got to have a conversation just to figure out how can you control it, or how can we get some type of checks and balance system in play. Cam, I hope that answered your question. Did you? Yeah, I believe both can be true, but exposure can lead to expansion of the mind. Yeah, leniency is mind-boggling. Now is the time. But moving off, yeah. So the Sweden gate. And Damien went to sleep or something. How are you going to send me the message talking about talk on this, and he's not even here anymore to speak on it? But yeah, he sent me a message. Like, Katie Beth had sent it to me a few weeks ago, talking about this Sweden gate. Basically, Sweden, the European nation, found itself at the center of a mass debate as a post on social media. I think it started off on Reddit, was talking about Swedes not feeding their guests. And that kicked off a massive online debate. So pretty much this lady, I think she was like of African descent, but she was living in Sweden, was just saying, like, somebody said, hey, what's the most racist thing that you've ever experienced while you're over there in Sweden? And she's getting on this, started telling this story about how she's over there in Sweden, and she'll be at people's houses, European people's houses, and they'll just like leave her in a room by herself, and they'll eat. Basically just starving the people, like not even let them know, like, hey, we're eating, here in American culture, if you go to a friend's house or a family member's house, if y'all are eating, they tell everyone, hey, bring a dish over, come down, eat, do this. Pretty much over there, it was just like, nah, if the family's eating, you got to stay upstairs in a room. They don't let you know. It's like, yeah, I'll be back in about 15 minutes and let you know. So it was pointed out on social media that Swedes do not traditionally offer food to their guests in some situations. And that kicked off this massive online debate. So, my guy brother Damien, he was living over there, and I'm like, he actually sent me the message earlier, like, hey, talk about this Sweden gate. So I was like, hey, what's this about? Like, have you experienced this? Pretty much, he told me that Swedish people, they just basically don't feed anybody, but it was more noted in like African people that live over there, and it was kind of weird because it's like, why do y'all do this? But then that also opened up the door to additional Swedish debates that was going on. So they actually said, I did not know this until today. I was today years old when I found this out. But they said Sweden actually played a key role in the lucrative business that manufactured the chains that enslaved Africans. And they also were buying colonies in parts of Africa where they established stations for the slave trade. Now, that was mind-boggling to me, because I think a lot of times we sit here and we think, like, European nations, I mean, I never thought that. I know other people are like, oh, I want to go over to Paris or Italy, or I want to go over to Sweden because they think, oh, it's so much better over there. I always knew these countries had deep-rooted racism in it, but I didn't realize that Sweden was actually part of the overall slave trade, manufacturing the chains that was enslaving Africans, and they actually had slave trade. But I mean, why not? So they said Sweden and other Nordic countries are regularly ranked amongst the happiest places to live. I mean, yeah, if people aren't associating you with genocides and other things, then you can just, fly under the radar. And it's saying like for years that's been thought of, but then they're saying like, but by who?
Yeah.
Who was looking at these countries as that? So I had to ask Damien. I was like, have you experienced any of this over there? He's told me that he hadn't experienced any form of racism while he was there, but he was saying like he talked to a couple like Africans that are over there. I didn't realize that Sweden had an African population as vast as they do, but he was saying like a couple of the people there had just let him know like they've experienced like discrete racism. Because we know over here in America,
It is not discreet.
we have blatant racism.
Yep.
So there are two different degrees of racism. Because like over there in Sweden, they might like Damien was telling me a story one day. He was over there. He was talking about one of his coworkers was like called him African American or a black or something like that. And he was just and like she felt like a little shy. And he was like, no, it's fine. You can say black. But over here, you know the words they use in America if they don't like you. They don't even try and shun away from it. Don't even try and lightly pepper it. They just throw the salt on heavily over here. So that brought up a topic. It's like, is discrete racism better than blatant racism?
Honestly.
Or does that sting? Or does it sting the same way?
I feel like blatant might be better because at least you're in my face about it. You're not over here trying to be my friend, but at the same time you secretly hate me. I'd rather you be upfront with how you feel.
And it's funny he said that because we're talking about this Swedish gate. I was watching the TV show Atlanta a couple months back. This last Atlanta season, the crew, they were actually over in Europe for a European leg of their tour, and they were actually experiencing firsthand the racism that occurs over in Europe. So they had this whole blackface day that they were wearing they painted their faces black and they were just running around the streets. They actually wanted the paper boy to perform because he looked like the figure, and they were like, "Hey, yeah, we want you to wear this little suit and tie that actually showed this black caricature that they had over there," which is crazy because I think a lot of times, like we said, people just look at these European nations as not having any type of racism, having just go over there happiest places, but having that understanding of like we said, what really goes on in these countries and knowing the history behind it is interesting because. I mean, I don't really be thinking nothing about Sweden except my godbrother lives over there. But being able to associate them with the trades that go on over here. So yeah, the discrete racism that happened, that's crazy. Y'all were making the change, but y'all wanted to be quiet about it, and then we just blatant over here in America. So yeah, it was interesting. So he had me do this whole Sweden gate, and he wasn't even here to chip in. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna get him back on another segment. It's gonna be a one-on-one where he's gonna discuss this in depth because now I need to know what's going on over there because he's telling us, oh, y'all need to come over here and visit Sweden and we got castles and we got lakes and y'all got racism too. Don't try and conceal it. Talk about some I don't really experience racism until I come back home to America. They whispering about you.
It still counts.
But yeah, moving on. Some of y'all might have seen my post earlier. We just kicked back off our You Matter campaign. It's crazy because we started the You Matter campaign. I don't even know how many years ago.
It had to be at least 4 or 5
Yeah, it
years
was about 4 or 5. I think it was premature then because I was going around. I had a couple friends that were making the You Matter post, and it was weird because for me it's like you need to be able to speak about your blessings, speak about what your purpose is, what motivates you in life. And when we first kicked this off, when I was talking to people and just asking them like, hey, can you make me a video? Can you do a post on why you matter? People just had this deer in headlights look like they didn't understand or they couldn't believe I would ask for them to make a video just showcasing why it is that they matter. To the point it's like, dude, you don't know why you matter? Like, what's your purpose what's your motivation for getting up in the morning? Like, do you have kids? Do you just enjoy working out? You trying to make the world a better place? But I think now we're in a place now in society and in the world where people need that. Like, we need to be able to understand our greatness, be able to understand what motivates us, what's our purpose here in the world, how do we motivate others, can we uplift, how can we bring others to that energy level that we're at. So kicking off this You Matter campaign again, I mean, I think it's timely because we're in a place where we need that healing aspect. We need that aspect where we need to find what motivates us again, what gives us that spark. And yeah, we just put out the challenge again on Facebook, a couple other social sites. We're running the campaign. We got a lot of swag to go with it now. Everything from like T-shirts to, I got them keychains right here. Look how things just be popping up. But yeah, now we're doing it. So we're doing weekly giveaways. So we got everything from keychains to wristbands to T-shirts to, I don't know, I might throw a couple little polos in. As y'all can see, a little You Matter polo now. But just a way just to showcase exactly why it is that you matter. Yell it from the rooftops because we need that right now.
Challenge your friends, let them get in on this too. We, like you're saying, we need a positive.
Yeah, we need something
out
positive out there where people can just latch on to, because there's a lot of negativity out there right now. But just having just something where people can just rally behind and just really just showcase why it is that you matter, whether it's for your community, whether it's for yourself, your family, your friends. Just what's the motivation for getting out and your purpose for just moving along daily. But yeah, here's one of the little You Matter keychains that we got a couple other little giveaways that we're gonna be doing. But really kick the contest off. Go on to our Facebook page, like the You Matter page. Go to our website. We got a You Matter newsletter that we're putting together that will just showcase a couple of different aspects, whether it's different mindfulness activities that can help you throughout the week. We're going to be showcasing people's videos and posts as they put them out there. So definitely link up with us, log in, check those out, and then post on our page. If you got a post, if you got a video you want to make, we're going to be re-looping up some of the older videos that we had before. We got a couple new videos that we got put together that we're going to be running also. But yeah, join the movement. Hop in, get a couple of these wristbands, a couple of these T-shirts, and let's make it happen.
We'll post ours too. We need to do an update for us as well.
I don't think I ever did one. I think I was so busy
I don't think either one of us
motivating
ever did
everyone
one.
else. But yeah, no, I'll do a little You Matter video, put that out there, and get it going.
But I think we've ran over pretty much today, so we're doing all right with our topics for the night. I think we're going to call it a day. We need to go pick up our son and find food. I hope you figured out what you want to eat.
I had not, man. That's one of the toughest questions that people ask. Is what do you want for dinner, or what do you want to eat?
You can figure it out.
That'd be a great app. You know, I might make an app that's just like the food app. It would be like a Russian roulette wheel, and you just load it up.
Got one.
I don't know. They ain't got it like this. I'm gonna call it What's Eat.
What?
I don't know.
I'm not.
Like WhatsApp or what?
No.
Whatever.
Okay. Anyway, you guys have a great weekend. We will talk to you next time.